So essentially that head is done. It's all the way put back together. All the valves back in it. And for right now, she's ready to go back on the bike. And then once it's back on the bike, we're gonna have to check the valves and then adjust from there. Okay, so today I am working on this. I'm grinding these valves so that they fit back into this head. This head, if you can see right there, it broke a valve off in the top of the piston. So we had a little bit of battle scars in here, and this bike is we're just trying to get it running. It's not a high performance bike of any sort. It just needs to be able to run so that my buddy that owns it can get it sold. So that's what I'm working on today, but I wanted to bring you guys in and show you guys a couple things that I'm working on. We're getting ready to, I just did new plastics and lube the rear wheel, air filter, stuff like that on this. I just wanted to give you guys a brief overview of some of the stuff that I got going on in here this week. Got some sign supplies right here, so we're gonna go ahead and make up my buddy Josh a couple new signs for his new business, which is gonna be something that you guys definitely should check out. He's opened up a business here in Eastern Ohio called Midwestern Motorsports, and he's gonna be our local KTM dealer, I think. He's also gonna offer services like powder coating, sandblasting. He's gonna be selling some side-by-sides and doing side-by-side work, and we're gonna get to build all of the bikes that he's gonna have for sale, I guess. Also, another one of the projects we're gonna have coming up is this. It is a 2007 CRF 450X, and as you can see, the Kickstarter decided to leave the chat and is no longer in its natural position in the other case half. So we got brand new case halves for this. We're gonna go ahead and pull out all the internals out of this engine and put all the new parts and everything back together and get this motor back together. And right here is the chassis for it. I think Josh is actually gonna be picking this up here soon, and he's gonna go get all of this crap in here detailed up so that we got a nice, pretty well brand new chassis to put that new motor into. That way everything looks nice and clean. I need to get my steed all cleaned up, make sure that it looks good again, because it's been sitting dirty like that for too long. This winter time really sucks here in Ohio because it makes it really hard to be able to clean stuff up and make it look good again. But this head that we're working on here, it's for this 1995 KLX250. I think that I've had this on the channel previously. I don't know what all I've filmed of it. Essentially, my buddy Ryan, he gave me the money for it, and I went and bought this bike, and it was completely in bins. It was just a bare frame. I went ahead and painted the frame and got everything in there, and then lo and behold, we have that valve problem. So we're gonna go ahead and finish up the head for that. That way later today when Ryan comes, we can go ahead and finish putting the top end back on this bike. I got those signs to do for Josh. I got to do graphics on this, graphics and seat cover on this bike. Our friends, the Frasers, they got accepted to ride for Sacred Grounds MX, which if you don't know who Sacred Grounds MX is, they are a Ohio-based training team. And what they do is they recruit riders that they see some sort of talent within, and they train them all year so that these riders can get better on their bikes. And Mac and Kennedy and their parents, Amy and Derek, they are all now part of that Sacred Grounds MX training facility. It's actually not even a facility, it's just a training team. They go around to different facilities and different tracks to mentor and teach these kids. And I'm not sure of his last name, but I know the owner of it, his name is Mike, and his wife's name is Shannon. And Mike is actually part of the Alpine Stars medical crew that you guys see during Supercross and stuff like that. So that'll be a really cool one. It'd be really cool to get all four of these bikes together so that we can get some photo shoots of all four of them matching and like perfect. So I'm gonna be honest here, I kind of feel lost just sitting here talking to you guys because this week I don't really have any solid plans as to what I'm gonna be doing for Sunday's video. So this week I'm just gonna do an episode of Braap Shop, and I'm just gonna kind of film a couple things that I'm working on. If you guys find this stuff interesting, comment down below and tell me what it is that you guys actually find interesting that I do on this channel. We don't have a huge viewership on this channel, but we are working towards that. And Part of that starts with knowing what kind of content that you guys really actually enjoy, whether that's, you know, putting graphics on bikes or, you know, building engines, doing suspension stuff, or maybe you guys just enjoy the whole aluminum frame, steel frame, or two-stroke versus four-stroke on the Braap breakdown. Yeah, so just let me know down below what you guys enjoy. That way I can kind of try to pick and aim as far as what kind of content that I'm gonna put out, you know? And I mean, even if you guys got pointers as to what I could improve on, or what things that you guys see or notice that I'm not noticing, leave that down in the comment section below. I don't really tend to hate on people, so like if you got a different outlook on what I'm doing than I do, I would definitely love to hear it, because at the end of the day, the whole reason that I'm producing this content is to add something of value that even if only one person finds value in it, then it is an accomplishment to me. So, so whatever you guys think down in the comments, just let me know. Also, I wanted to take just a few minutes to talk to you guys about the website. I'm constantly evolving the website, and if you guys don't know, I actually do all of that by myself, and I would like to get to do more things. I'm sure if you're watching this that you're kind of familiar with MX Revival, and if you're not, you should go check him out. He's got some fantastic content, especially if you're watching like the Facebook or TikTok. I don't know if he does TikTok. I think it's just Facebook and Instagram. But if you go look him up, MX Revival, he's so funny, especially if you're watching the Facebook or Instagram stuff. He does all these funny voices of like Arnold Schwarzenegger and like all kinds of funny stuff. So you guys should definitely go give him a follow and check out his stuff. But back to the website thing. So if you guys don't know this, I actually do that entire website by myself. It's been built from the ground up, all by me, just sitting and kind of learning stuff and learning how all of it works. So just yesterday, Monday, February 9th, I added a new portion to the website, and it is called Submit Your Clips. So if you go to the website, braapboyz.com, go over to the tab at the top that says Submit Your Clips. If you click on that, there is a page on there where if you are a rider, it doesn't matter if you're in Ohio or you're in California, all the way across the country. If you're a rider and you got some clips and you want to be featured on my social medias, you know, the vertical videos where I put edits and stuff together of riders and stuff like that. I enjoy making those videos, and if you guys would like to be featured on that, head over there to braapboyz.com and click on that tab. Read through all of the stipulations, and it's not necessarily rules, but kind of a guideline as to what you should be uploading, and yeah, upload some of your guys' videos. Send them to me and I'll edit them up, and I'll put some new reels and stuff out. That way you guys can be featured in it. Also, make sure that if you're gonna upload videos, it's not mandatory on there, but drop your social media tags in there, and I will be sure to tag you on social media, even if I'm not following you. For every person that does drop video clips and their social media handles, I will go and I will follow you on the social media platform that you provided handles for. Yeah, and we'll post some edits and get you guys up on our social media. I don't know really where else to take this. I just kind of wanted to get on here and talk for a minute and just let you guys know kind of what's going on in my realm. Plus, this whole making one video a week thing is kind of hard. If you've never done it, then I'm sure you probably won't understand, but it's kind of hard, especially when you're doing things like with the Braap breakdown, where I record my audio onto my phone and then edit everything and then find all the other clips online and pictures and just all the stuff. It's a lot of work, but it is something that I'm dedicated to for 2026. And I think that the more I do it, the longer that this goes, the more Sunday uploads that I have, it'll make it easier. Plus, I know I can see, even if it's only 2 subscribers per video that I post, I can definitely already see an increase in where I was at. And I would really like to get to the point where I can be monetized. And honestly, it's not really for the money as much as it is to be able to use the money that I do get from it to kind of give back to you guys, whether that's eventually getting to the point where I can give bikes away like MX Revival does. Just getting to the point where I can be able to do that, or if I need to upgrade my camera or upgrade audio equipment or just whatever it is, just to be able to give you guys a little bit better content and something that is of a value. because I know that when I'm on YouTube and looking around, that's what I'm searching for, is what kind of value I can find in whatever video I'm watching. I don't tend to watch stuff that's not, it doesn't have a core piece of value to me in it. Yeah, I guess with all that said, if you guys would like to support us a little bit further, like I said a little bit ago, head over to that website, check out all the different stuff that we got on there. If something catches your eye, please put it in order, because that helps us out more than you could know. I guess with all that said, let's jump over to this head real quick, and I'll show you guys a couple different things about that. All right, let's get into doing this head. I already got one of the valves done, which is this one. So now we're just gonna finish up this other one. I already started it, but if you don't know about this, then this is something that you can use to get a head back in good shape, but this isn't everything that you can do with a head. This is not fully building a head, which I actually don't have the full capabilities to do here, but I can definitely grind some valves though. So first thing what we're gonna do after the valve's all wiped off, which I already did, we're gonna put some of that, it's just called valve grinding compound, and get it right down at the parts store, and then we're gonna slide this right back down into where it goes, just like that. And take our little suction cup, stick it on that valve just like that. I don't know how much you guys can actually see of this, but we're gonna pretty much spin this. If you can hear that, it's gonna be like a grinding noise, but it changes its tone the more that you grind it. And then once you lift it and stick it back down, it gets crunchier again, and that's because it just put more of this valve grinding compound down in there where the actual seating surfaces are. So if you get the valve grinding compound on the bottom, you gotta wipe it all off because this suction cup don't like to stick. Stick this on there, and you don't have to put much force on this, you just gotta spin it. So you're going to notice the more that you grind this valve, the less it's going to take. Okay, and then you're going to have excess on this, which I've been using this dirty rag to get all the excess off of here and out of here. I'll use this rag, fine clean it. And fine clean this. Okay, so here's the intake valve, and you can see on that one that I haven't ground anything yet. But if we jump over to this exhaust valve, you can see right here on this line that goes all the way around it, and that is right there is where I've ground. And essentially what we're doing is we're just taking a little bit of material off of the lip that it goes on in here, so that the mating surfaces are exactly the same. That's what we're doing with the whole valve grinding thing. So now I'm going to do this one more time to this one, since it's already been done twice. I usually do each one of them 3 times just to be sure that they're as ground as I can make it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but there is obviously a mark right here in the head and right here, and that's from that's from the top of this, or the bottom of this valve jumping around in the cylinder. So I took a small file and I filed that stuff flat, and luckily there's not really any ridges inside on the spot where the valve seats, so I'll just keep doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and do this again, and I'll show you guys one more time from a different angle, that way you guys can get a better view of it. Here's the valve that we're going to be doing again. This is the last time I'm going to do this valve, and then after this clip I'll go ahead and I'll just do the other ones off screen. So what I'm going to do, I got a glob of this coming out, so I'm just going to take this valve and just barely touch it on there and then spin the valve. You don't need a whole bunch of this stuff. Get it all the way around there like that. So now you got your valve grinding compound on there. Take this valve, stick it right back down through its valve guide. I'm going to take our suction cup, stick it right to it just like that. And we don't have to push very hard on this. You just got to give it enough pressure so that it doesn't pop up out of the hole. And you just spin it, and then you lift it, and you can hear it. You can hear it get more gritty every time that you lift it. But if you hold it down and you don't lift it, you can hear how it doesn't sound nearly as gritty after doing it for a few minutes. Stick it back on there. And then before I get completely done, before I pull this valve out for the last time, what I'll do is I'll sit here and grind it until it's like it's not getting gritty at all anymore. So now that I've lifted it, it's going to be gritty again. Stick it back on there. So now it's going to be super gritty, and then I'm going to just keep filing that until I don't hear any gritty no more. Just like that. And then I'm gonna pull this all the way out, use my dirty rag, clean off all the stuff on the valve, clean off all the excess in here. I'm gonna use my microfiber and get any residual off of this, so that way I can check it all out. Same with this. Now, we've got a nice even ring all the way around this valve, and we have what looks to be a nice even ring all the way around the inside of here. So now this valve is completely checked and ready to go back in the head. I need to do the other two valves, which I'm going to go ahead and do off camera, and then I'll bring you back when I start installing stuff. That way you guys can see exactly pretty much how you got to install all this stuff to make it work. Also, another thing, if you guys ever do this on your own, you need to make sure that you're putting these in an order where you know exactly where you ground them at, because they have to go into the holes that they were ground in, because even though I'm not doing everything to this head, it still has to be put back together the way that they were ground. Okay, so I went ahead and I got these other three valves in just to make sure everything was going to go smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and set you guys up on the tripod and show you exactly how it is that you put the valve back in, because he's got these little keepers on the top of them, and they can be kind of a pain unless you know a few little tricks. So let's get to it. So first things first, we're going to need one of these. It's a valve spring removal tool. Okay, so the first thing, I'm going to take some assembly lube, put it right here on the shaft of this valve. I've already cleaned up all this stuff and cleaned the head and everything out. Put just a little bit on there. The head also, I put new valve seals in it. Pretty much those things, you just grab them with a pair of needle nose and yank it out. And then I like to use an 8mm and stick it back in there on the seat and then push it back down in there. So after you get this lubed up, slide it through the valve guide. You're gonna see extra assembly lube. Wipe that off the end of it. Now we need our valve spring. This is a dual valve spring. It has a spring inside of a spring, and it has a little valve keeper hat right on the top. Slide this in here where it goes. Then I like to keep the valve keepers and the shims inside the buckets. So we'll take our valve keepers out, and this is kind of an important step, even though it's little. I'm gonna take a rag. You want to take your fingernail and clean out the inside of this groove. Get all of the oil out of it that's in there, because the next step won't work as well if you don't. So make sure that the inside of that's nice and cleaned out. I'm gonna do that with both of them. Then next step, we're gonna go ahead and pop this in here. This end right here, this top end goes on the bottom of the valve, and then this piece right here pushes down on the valve spring to compress it, hold it into place while we put our valve keepers in it. And put this in here, and we're going to compress this spring down far enough to where we can see this little groove right here at the top of the valve stem. Okay, that should be enough. Take our light, I'm going to stick it right here to the top of my valve spring tool. Now this is the fun part. So I have a big tub of grease over here, just a little bit of grease on the end of a flathead screwdriver. And then I'm gonna take this keeper, I'm gonna hold this keeper like this. I'm gonna take some of this grease and put it down into it. And then leave a little bit left on the end of the screwdriver so that the keeper will stick directly to the screwdriver just like that. I know it's kind of hard to see, but then I'm going to take this screwdriver and I'm going to feed it up through this hole in the spring compressor. I'm going to stick it to the end of the valve. Sometimes you might have to manipulate this spring compressor over a little bit while you're doing this. And then slide it down into its place, which should just be just below the surface of the valve stem itself. There we go. And then we're going to do the same exact thing with the other one. You can see how it's formed. Just put a little bit of grease inside there like that. Stick it to the screwdriver just like that. Then we're going to flip this one upside down and go in from the top. Stick it right to the end of the valve. And then we're going to use our screwdriver to push it down in where it goes. Probably move this spring compressor around a little bit to get this in here if you're not It's not far enough. There we go. Now they're in place. Put this handle in here. We're going to hold this so that it doesn't move. And we're going to sit here and we're going to watch to make sure that these keepers stay where they're supposed to be. And we're going to release the tension off the spring. There we go. And we're going to take this all the way out like that. Take our rag. I'm going to wipe the top of this valve off. A little bit of grease down in there ain't going to hurt nothing. And as you can see, that is what it should look like when you're all said and done. So now all 4 of those valves are in there. I'm going to go ahead and clean these buckets up that are sitting over here and put the shims that are in them in top of these valves. That's going to be where it sits for now until we can get this head back onto the bike and I can adjust the valves to make sure that they are within spec. So pretty much all I'm doing to these is I'm just popping the shim out of here. I'm going to, on all the shims, usually there's a number marked on it. This one doesn't have a number. I'm going to go ahead and write it down. This is probably the best tool that you could have to do these. Calipers will work too, but this tends to be a little bit more accurate than a set of calipers. So if you don't know how to measure these, this is probably the most accurate way. A set of micrometers. And essentially what you're going to do is you're going to stick your shim in there, and then on these ones it has like a little dial right here. So 2.90 is how big this one is, so I'll go ahead and write that down. 2.90 millimeters. So then go ahead and stick it right down in here, right down in there. See, this is without, this is with. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bucket, go ahead and wipe all the old oil out of it, clean it all up. I'm going to take my assembly lube. I'm going to put just a little bit right here on top of this just to make sure that it's going to stay in there. And I'm going to take some, I'm going to put it right here on the outside, make sure that the whole thing is coated. I'm going to stick it right down in here. This is what you're going to do for all 4 of them. So we're going to go ahead and measure it. 2.87 inside there where the keepers are at. Again, adds a little bit of assembly lube. Clean it all out, get all the old oil out of it. Right here and run it around. I'm not really worried about the tops of these right now because when I go ahead to put the cams in, I will make sure that there's plenty of oil in there in top of the head. So essentially that head is done. It's all the way put back together. All the valves back in it. For right now, she's ready to go back on the bike, and then once it's back on the bike, we're going to have to check the valves and then adjust from there. But now that I have already had them out, I kind of know, actually I fully know. So now that they've already been out, I know the valves, shim size, and where they're at. So that's it on that one. Yeah, look at all this snow out here. But luckily, it's melting. It's all melting. So we can get back to being warm again. This is the first time I've had my freaking doors open in months. Look at all that. Gross.